and welcome back to another stream here. So, Claude or Gemini, who will win today's blind test? Vote now if you want. The main topic that has been discussed in all AI circles, mostly tech circles, has been the rollout of ChatGPT-5. So, which model are you using most this week? GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, Grok, or even DeepSeek? In one line, what's your number one AI use case this month? And give a reason as to why that is the case. Fast and think is, I would say, a noticeable topic shift there when it comes to what the outputs look. So I'd like to discuss a bit of an interesting week throughout the week commencing August the 11th through to the Friday the 15th of August 2025 here. So, of course, in your opinion, what do you think was the top trending AI topic for this week? In my opinion, it's been the GPT-5 launch and prompt engineering advances based on GPT-5. So because it was released globally this week as the new model powering ChatGPT, billed as the most major upgrade, GPT-5 combines fast conversational responses with deeper reasoning abilities in a single unified system, which is a godsend to some of us who are so tired of switching between models when you can, instead of using 4.0, 03, 03 Pro, 01, 01 Pro, 04 Mini, 04 Mini High, it's just easier that way to have it. And I see that Michael there is using GPT-5. So give me a good use case that you found that would be, has been elevating your prompting throughout this week. So this model excels at vibe coding. Now, if you're not aware of what vibe coding is basically doing all the software development back end and front end without actually having the years of development experience necessary, meaning it can generate entire software applications from natural language prompts. ChatGPT's free tier was upgraded to GPT-5 by default, which is natural, giving all users access to advanced reasoning for the first time. So the people that were only using GPT 4.0 or hit significant limitations now have the opportunity to have this advanced reasoning at their fingertips. That's going to be a huge exposure to a lot of different people, businesses and individuals alike. Although many expected a leap toward AGI, analysts note that GPT-5 does not reach an AGI level yet, but it delivers notable improvements in coding, writing, and reasoning tasks. Importantly, GPT-5 significantly reduces hallucinations and errors compared to previous models. Now, if anybody's actually focused on their prompts and what they've actually been trying to achieve and saying, oh, why isn't it working? Why isn't it working? Or achieving results that have been absolutely the opposite of what you've actually wanted to get out of the prompt, this will now mitigate or reduce significantly the errors and hallucinations. If you have been using GPT-5, have you noticed any differences from pre-GPT-5, so using legacy model GPT-4, 4.0, or one of the other versions, as compared to GPT-5 throughout this past week? As AI days are basically there's something new every single day. Still, one of the crucial factors here is prompt engineering. That's why a consistent part of my business model and revenue source has been advanced and expert prompt engineering, refining and improving on the contextual prompts that I can provide for clients and even for myself and my daily drivers. So when you are using advanced prompt engineering techniques or ensuring that you can make your AI even smarter, crafting clear instructions and utilizing new features like the GPT-5, the ability to think longer on tough queries, really helps maximize its performance. OpenAI even released an official ChatGPT-5 prompting guide, with tips to improve outputs by adjusting the model's reasoning effort and clarity of instructions. This topic is trending as developers and users exchange prompt strategies for GPT-5 and are sharing their first impressions of its capabilities. Now I'm exchanging with people in my community for the prompt strategies and how to maximize which model to use first, or for what potential and what reasoning. A couple of other topics I'd like to cover today in this live session is the AI model showdown. So OpenAI versus open source versus the competitors. So the community as a whole in the AI space is abuzz about the AI model race. OpenAI's GPT-5 claims a slight edge over rival models on many benchmarks. For example, on a coding test, GPT-5 scored 74.9%, just barely outperforming Anthropic's newly released Claude Opus 4.1, which was 74.5. Now, in my honest opinion, a 0.4% increase is barely any reason to suddenly switch, if you're using Claude as your main driver, to just get that tiny bit of outperformance over their latest model. Google's DeepMind's latest Gemini 2.5 and Elon Musk's XAI Grok models are also in the mix as well, each leading in some tests but lagging in others. A major development in OpenAI's decision to release two open-weight AI models, the 120 billion parameter and the 20 billion parameters, that developers can run on a single GPU or even a PC. So these open-weight models will not be as powerful as their cloud counterparts, but the opportunity for beginner developers or people who want to venture into offline model running, this is a great opportunity to see what the 120 billion and the 20 billion parameters can actually do. So these are the first open releases from OpenAI since 2019. Gatekeeping much? They're optimized for reasoning tasks and match the performance of OpenAI's smaller proprietary models. This move comes as open source AI booms, and obviously OpenAI had to concede and actually keep up with their counterparts that are steaming ahead with open source, and obviously in the company's name, Open, you would assume or would have hoped that they would have had an open source much sooner than they already have. All right, moving on. So this move comes as open source AI booms with Meta's Llama, as it was a leader in open models until China's DeepSeek introduced a powerful, cost-effective model that shook up the landscape. Now, DeepSeek is not to be confused with Qwen, because DeepSeek and Qwen are separate models themselves. Qwen 3 Coda seems to be one of the best that I have been utilizing almost daily, and for the free version you have to wonder what the potential security risks are, but for general day-to-day tasks they are steamrolling ahead. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and others are in an absolute arms race to offer the best models, because people are debating why closed versus open source AI, and should a select few people or companies control and govern all of what AI is really going, in what direction, and how they govern it with the ethics. And to beautiful segue. So the AI adoption, impacts, and ethics in society for the final part. So beyond the tech specs, there's intense discussion on how AI is spreading into government, businesses, and daily life. In the US, the federal government just approved OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic as official AI providers for civilian agencies. What could possibly go wrong? This streamlines AI adoption across government departments, signaling that AI tools are becoming mainstream in critical institutions. In industry, companies are grappling with AI's ethical implications. For instance, Disney's internal debate about using AI to deepfake actors, like creating a digital Dwayne Johnson for a movie scene. This is going to be highly contested, highlighted legal and creative concerns. They ultimately chose not to use the AI-generated footage due to rights and intellectual property issues. Of course, mirroring broader Hollywood discussions on using AI while avoiding audience backlash. There is also a viral cautionary tale of a man who became delusional after ChatGPT told him he had superpowers, reinforcing concerns about AI's psychological influence when it flatters or hallucinates. Because the more you use said model, or any model for that matter, it can become so agreeable and start hallucinating after the context window is reached that it can become dangerous. OpenAI acknowledged this risk and is working on updates to detect user distress and avoid feeling delusions. Now, didn't they have like a month ago where they were too agreeable that they had to roll that back because they had tweaked the system prompt so much that it would basically be a yes man? On another front, researchers revealed new techniques that can erase watermarks from AI-generated images, undermining efforts to distinguish real versus fake content. This finding has sparked concern about authentication of media, and overall, it is a difficult situation because the public is wrestling with AI adoption versus the greater risk that it can is glaringly obvious. So from government use and business innovation to ethical debates, safety, and trust in AI systems. For those of you watching live and after, do you trust any AI system, LLM, model, or company? And if you do, explain why you do, and give one reason as to why you would trust in that system. Because in all honesty, I wouldn't trust in any system, because just like any data harvesting company, you have no idea where that information is going because you basically hand it over to them. I would say mostly free of charge, but if you're on paid plans, then you're also paying to train their models and their systems. So back to GPT-5. It launched with 700 plus million weekly ChatGPT users. That's across the globe. That is a lot of weekly users. That's almost 1 billion users weekly. That is, correct me if I'm wrong, currently the highest active users on an LLM or a chatbot model. I have a feeling that could be wrong, but also everyone I talk to, clients or individuals alike, they all say they use ChatGPT, and when I mention other companies or models, they say, I didn't know there were more. If you are watching this, you are clearly interested in AI in some capacity. What news has excited you or even concerned you throughout this week? Because if you are like me, you are very excited for all the new advancements, but you're also worried about how quickly everything is rocketing towards a crazy pace. So Michael here has noticed that it's much more precise with the prompts. And if you are prompting differently, you can, I have a resource where I've created a contextual window and sort of like a prompt framework and outline for GPT-5 at the moment, because you need to tweak it just a little bit, just because of the sort of baked in thinking or reasoning models. Interesting that you prefer Claude the most. From the most knowledge I know, Ilya Sutskever, the founder of Anthropic Claude, was an ex-OpenAI co-founder, if I'm not mistaken, and he wanted to have a more sustainable practice and a more ethically governed and private, sort of like Apple wanting, privacy at their forefront. So Anthropic is, let's say, the AI counterpart to Apple in that sense. Michael, if you're referring to people using it for basic things, that is ChatGPT, yes, I would agree. You can clarify that if you believe it is different. So with GPT-5, it's a unified model with both fast conversational ability and a thinking mode for complex tasks. Now, I'd like to show what I mean by we can go through. I haven't prepared any examples, so we're going to go through this live. And you are scared for the silent user who uses it smartly. So when I'm not live streaming or creating videos, I am just quietly building in secret. And I tried out a few things last night with GPT-5 and cross-referenced it with Gemini 2.5 Pro, Claude Opus 4.1, and double-checked the validity with a no-code automation workflow, and built a application that could actually be used by the masses in under 4 hours. Of course, it didn't have the security framework and the database set up, but it had the base framework and wireframe of a application that would be a viable product, basically. You say that you can't type that quick. If you look at the little banner that's coming across the screen from right to left, you can use a Whisper Flow. This is not a paid sponsorship. This is just a tool that I really enjoy using. They don't take any of your voice recordings or data if you choose to opt out of sharing that information with them. And you can use my code whisperflow.ai/r/Elliot13 to ensure that you get we get mutual beneficial pros there. So you upgrade to Pro or use more than speak more than 2,000 words, you'll get a Pro for free for a month. Yes, I will be talking to them about some kind of partnership in the future, but until then, this is all I get for now. All right, so we can now see my screen on the above us. So as the unified model is both fast with conversational ability and a thinking mode for complex tasks, my screen might look a little bit different than most people's because I have an extension called Superpowered GPT, and I have options for different types of things here. So you've got settings, gallery, prompts, and conversations, and I have a manager, and I'm able to sort of have a all in one place, extra situations here. So I can have the GPT store all in one place as well. I have notes, I got custom instruction profiles, and of course you can have all the different prompts. And I have some very useful prompts here that, for example, a master LinkedIn prompt framework with a really good optimized prompt here. You can, of course, update them to fit your needs. So if you want to have, for example, vibe coding, it's now version 2 with a better response. You will act as an experienced AI programmer for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and other platforms. And you've got front-end development, all of the programming languages to use there. So it will act as that, and you can even specify that even more. For the back end, though, you have quite a lot, and there are some programming languages in there that I have honestly never heard of. But if you're vibe coding and using GPT-5, this can really, really, really help. With database development as well, it understands and will be able to utilize expertise on any of these development database tools and languages. And for added bonus, the data science behind it as well. So Python TensorFlow, Python PSP, DAX, and Python NumPy. Now, every time I see NumPy, I think of numpty, so don't ask me why. AI and machine learning, big data, R, Python, Hadoop, Apache Hadoop, Power BI, Apache Spark, and Scala, or Scala. I don't know how to pronounce it. A lot of people I know have used Power BI before, and some people have been using Python TensorFlow, but that just depends on your community. But AI and machine learning is obviously very crucial to what we're discussing now. And here you can see that it is based on quite a complex standalone prompt there as well. So you can, of course, update the prompt if I want to include it. I can utilize it, delete it, or create additional steps as well. So I can create instructions. I can show the tags in them as well, where if you wanted to keep the tags, you can have only up to 3. And of course, you can add a new step here. So this will use in the chain. As you can see, it hasn't fully gone over to GPT-5 yet, but GPT-4 at the moment is doing quite well. I wonder what you're laughing at, Michael. So just removing that extra step there. So GPT-5 can build apps or write code from plain English descriptions, potentially transforming software development. Note the broader availability as there is no paywall for GPT-5, and the huge user adoption, indicating how ubiquitous AI has slowly becoming, or already has become. So anybody in the chat here, that would be really good if you can give me a app idea or something that I could build writing the code from plain English and utilize the model there. So because I have extended the models in my, instead of just having 1 or 2 options, I actually enabled, so I can actually look at legacy models as well. So I can still access all of the different types of models here. As you can see, we've got Agent, the latest and most advanced model for running autonomously. Deep research, everybody, if you have been using GPT for a long time now, will know and be well versed in deep research. We have, I still cannot believe, GPT 3.5 has not been deprecated at all, as that is extremely outdated. GPT 4.1 is showing as newest and most advanced model, which is not correct. The GPT 4.1 mini is just a smaller version of that. 4.0 was the standard and default one for most people beforehand, and now that has switched over to GPT-5 as their flagship model. So here you have two points here of GPT-5 flagship and newest and most advanced model. That could be down to the Chrome extension here misrepresenting those two. I could refresh the page and see if it is still showing. As you can see, before the extension was able to load up, this is what it might look like to the common user. Auto, fast, thinking mini, and thinking. So as you can see here in the description, decides how long to think, instant answers, thinking mini, and thinking. So if you want it to think really quickly, it will utilize the right mode there. There you can go to the legacy models, but you don't have O4 Mini High, you don't have O3 Pro. However, now when we go back to this, we would have the option for that. Now, obviously, I'm not on the Pro version as I use multiple platforms and multiple models. That having the Pro version, I'd be looking at $1,000 a month just in subscription fees. And considering we discussed, or I was talking about the open source sort of rise has, kind of put a dent in the justification of spending $200+ a month on something. For example, Claude Code and Claude Opus having the max version and the 5 times pro limit or 20 times pro limit, you're looking at between $100 and $200 extra. But you need to be an absolute power user to ensure that you are actually getting the most bang for your buck, so to speak. So some little tips for the prompt quality. GPT-5 is smarter, but giving clear instructions and context yields the best results. You can set reasoning time. I know with Qwen 3, you can choose how much to utilize for that. And for example, you've got Moonshot AI using Kimi K2 Instruct, which is another open source model as well. And you can do some comparisons real time as well. And just to build on what I was talking about with the thinking model for Qwen 3, so using Qwen 3 Coder. So as you can see, they have a 235 billion parameter model there. It accepts text, image, video, and audio inputs. I am still yet to see the option of adding videos or audio to ChatGPT. Why is that? If they are valued at billions, how can they not have implemented something that they can manage? Model accepts text, image, video, and audio inputs. And even at the 30 bill parameter, you can also add images and audio and get it to be extracted as well. So Qwen 2.5 was their previous models, which was the most powerful model. And now the Qwen 3 just blew it out the water with an MOE. So a mixture of experts language model there. If you want Qwen 3 Coder, basically like the Thinking Mini, like you can see, not here, obviously, because in my external one, as you can see, you've got GPT-5 and GPT-5 reasoning, but when you are using the thinking model, you can quickly click somewhere underneath when it's providing its response. You can click and it will get answers quick. So it will basically stop the thinking process and will focus on just the answer. So should I test first with Qwen 3 or with ChatGPT-5 thinking? I'm curious how individuals and businesses are using ChatGPT-5 in their daily work. So looking at your current business or you as an individual, what business or which business process would you want to automate with GPT-5 and potentially with a no-code automation, an AI agent with NA10 inside an automation workflow? It would be really good to know some real-world use cases there. And so Michael says, I will go with ChatGPT-5, so ChatGPT-5 it is. We're going to rewrite, format, and stylize the below instructional prompt for ChatGPT-5 thinking or reasoning model. I want you to scour the internet and crawl all social media posts pertaining to current business problems across a wide range of industries. List out the top 3 pain points across those industries identified and communicate in an effective and business critical option. That could be a use case for GPT-5 to build on that use case. So as you can see there, I used Whisperflow, and it actually puts in grammar, syntax. It will actually listen to what you're trying to formalize or trying to actually put into words, and instead of just reiterating everything you're saying, it will sometimes, if it needs to, put semantics into the sentence correctly, it will then do that for you properly, especially if you need to list out things in a listicle or in, bullet points. You can suggest that and it will actually intuitively work that out for you. All right, so we're going to use this as a base, and I don't want to perform any deep research at the moment or go into agent mode. I just want to, they have released study and learn mode, but we're not going to be using that for this case right now. And as you see here, we can click to get a quick answer, but if you click on where the highlighted text is. So I need to rewrite the instructional prompt for ChatGPT-5 to match the user's preferences. The style should be simple with short sentences, British spelling. So these are my instructions that I have set in my GPT because I don't want to have Americanized spelling. I want to have British spelling. So no hype or rhetorical questions, step-by-step structure, results first, rational and optional sources. Avoid impossible instructions like crawl all social media. So there already, it's found a redundancy in what I have asked. Formatting prompts, refining the prompt structure. I can use a code block to present a prompt for easy copying. Better to avoid JSON because it could cause issues, because I wanted to avoid colons in the prompt itself, but in the answers it can. All right, so Michael has said reporting and analysis of data. Let's see if they are coming up with anything like that. Here's the result. Here's a clean prompt you can paste for a reasoning model with browsing and sourcing. Goal: find the most pressing business problems right now across many industries. Deliver the top 3 pain points across industries. For each pain point, propose one strong GPT-5 use case that would solve or reduce that pain. Scope: time window, past 30 days. Sources: public, web, plus major social platforms. Regions: global. Language: English. Now, of course, you can tweak this prompt and choose whatever language you want. Ethics use only public posts and public pages. Obviously, you don't want to have copyrighted information because we care. Privacy: do not collect personal data. That is a given. Do these companies care? Probably not. Method. 10 steps. Plan your search. List industries to sample, include software, finance, retail, health, logistics, manufacturing, education, media, energy, travel, government. Search the public word. Add platform searches for LinkedIn, X, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok. Use exact queries around problems, complaints, blockers, budget cuts, delays, cost, overrun compliance, outage, backlog, and similar terms. Sample widely. Capture a diverse set of posts and articles across roles such as founders, executives, operators, engineers, marketers, and support. Cluster signals. Group items by problem theme, merge duplicates, and remove low-quality noise, which is another very useful tip there. Being specific, removing low-quality noise. Now, most people I speak to wouldn't even consider something like that, and I myself would not have thought of that initially. But by using the way that this prompt was, is now giving me the opportunity to be able to read through it, because a lot of people's critical thinking has been disappearing slowly simply because they just put something in and just expect a result. But I actually go through and I will either use a Socratic coach as a style based on in a style in Claude, or I will utilize an instruction in a project or prompt style to teach me in a Socratic way if I really want to increase and step up my game. Number 5, score each theme. Use 4 factors: frequency, urgency, business impact, and recency. Score each from 1 to 5. Total is the theme score. Number 6, pick the top 3 themes by score. Keep ties if justified. For each winning theme, design one GPT-5 use case. It must be specific, measurable, and feasible within 12 weeks. Number 8, gather proof. Add up to 5 source links per theme with dates and one-line quotes. Summarize in your own words. Do not reveal private chain of thought. And if for extra measure, I would go ahead and create an extra safeguard there or guardrail, just so that it would not be able to be reverse engineered. Number 9, check bias. Ensure coverage across at least 5 industries and 3 regions. Number 10, produce that final report. Now for the output. So as you can see here, you've got the goal, the scope, the method, the output, the style, and the extras. Now that is a good potential why it works. So for the output, write a short executive summary first, then list the 3 items. For each item, include a mix of industries. Industry mix example, pain point short name, why it matters 1 short paragraph. Score, show the 4 subscores and the total. Evidence up to 5 links with dates and 1 10-word takeaway each. GPT-5, use case 1 paragraph. Pilot steps 3 bullets, risk and blockers 3 bullets, success metric 1 line, and finish with a short note section that explains limits and next checks in plain language. For the style, short sentences, plain words, no filler, dates in day, month, year for the Americans, month, day, year. Link after each claim, think step by step in private, show only final answers. Extras. Add 2 example prompts that a team could run to start the use case. Each prompt must be copy ready and tool aware for a standard business stack, such as email, calendar, spreadsheets, CRM, and ticketing. So why it works. It turns a vague crawl request into a safe, repeatable research workflow. It adds time, window scoring, sourcing, ethics, and output shape. It gives the model room to think in private and deliver only final answers, which is what you ideally want at the end. So there's a runnable checklist, so you can, the 6 steps, paste the prompt, set the time window if you need a different span, add or remove industries as needed, run once for a baseline, rerun weekly to track shifts, and compare scores over time and log changes. Optional next actions. Once on a schedule, I can set a weekly research run that compiles the reports and sends you a summary. Want a lighter version? Use the short prompt below. And for peace of mind, I will read out the short prompt. Find current business pain points across many industries using public, web, and social posts from the past 30 days. Cluster signals, score themes by frequency, urgency, impact, and recency. Return the top 3 themes with links and dates. For each theme, propose 1 concrete GPT-5 use case plus 3 pilot steps and 1 success metric. Short sentences, plain words, sources after claims, final answers only. Now, that is a hyper-condensed version of this complete prompt here. However, if you are not looking for specificity, the short prompt would do. Title ideas. Top 3 cross-industry pain points with GPT-5 fixes. What hurts most this month and how GPT-5 can help. Fast scan of market pain with ready GPT-5 plays. If you want, I can tailor the industry's time window or output fields for your next run. Now, let's try the same prompt across a wide range. Now, shall I keep ChatGPT-5 as the AI model it should look for, or should I adapt it to the model I will be using? I will try it with each model itself there. So can I copy that? I can. And I will keep the use case for ChatGPT-5 to build on, because that would be the best use case for that. Now with Qwen 3, you can control the length of thinking. So you can use up to almost 82,000 tokens and as low as 1,024 tokens. I like to keep it like a good, mid-range, like 42,000 tokens. But in this case, we wanted to really think hard and to create a really good prompt. Of course, it can search, but in this case, we don't want to search just yet, as we want it to create the instructional prompt. Like so. So we'll run this and come back to it once it's reached its capabilities. Now we'll try this for Claude Sonnet 4, as Opus 4.1 is absolutely brutal on just the Pro plan for using capabilities. So we want to Claude Sonnet 4 and see the same thing there. So now here we can choose extended thinking and choose to use a different style. So AI 2027. Let's use the AI 2027 style because that is technical and tailored towards it. So here's Kimi, the free version of Kimi. So the Kimi K2. There's common phrases you can add. You can add up to 50 maximum files at 100 megabytes each per conversation per window. So they have quite a large file support there. Also accepts PDF, doc, XLX, PowerPoint, text, images, etc. But I'm not sure if it can accept audio and video. Kimi K2 does not support extended reasoning because it is the flagship model that already has it baked in. So we are going to do for Kimi K2. And we will do the same for Gemini. So this was I'm not going to go through each of the outputs for the prompts in detail. If you want to pause on screen for each of them, you can pause, take a screenshot, and see what was output. So a strategic business intelligence request with proven operational impact, verifiable traction, cross-sector recurrence, top 3 industry agnostic pain points, format and example, critical constraints that it has. No GPT-5 references, focus on Qwen 3's proven capabilities, and cite data sources, giving examples as well. Sample output format, illustrative. This prompt turns vague instructions into a boardroom-ready strategic asset, as opposed to a safe, repeatable research workflow. Now, Claude Sonnet has come back with, looking at your original prompt, I need to clarify something important. I can't actually scour the internet or crawl all social media posts. That's not how my web search capabilities work. But if I had chosen to search the internet, then it might have. However, let me rewrite this to be realistic and actionable. Thank you, Claude, for doing it for me. The revised prompt for Claude: research current business problems across major industries using web search. Find recent reports, industry analysis, and business publications from 2024 to 2025. So not within the last 30 days. Identify the top 3 pain points that appear consistently across different sectors. For each pain point, explain how advanced AI systems could address these challenges and outline specific business applications. Out of the prompts you've seen so far, which one seems like the most comprehensive? I know that GPT-5 was tailored towards GPT-5, but based on the instructional prompt for each individual model, has it done a good enough job? All right, so Kimi just decided to give me a straight up JSON response. So flow is a concise, repeatable prompt block you can drop straight into any Kimi K2 session. Keeps original intent but adds structure, guardrails, and K2 style. Aha, I see. So the system prompt kicks in. Guidance of the model can reason step by step and surface the most business critical opportunity for GPT-5. This is a system meta instruction. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Ooh, no markdown fences as well. You are Kimi K2, a reasoning-centric model. Proceed in the following order, using chain of thought and tool calling where useful. Very interesting. It's gone define and delimit. So it's even taken into consideration tomorrow's date, because I believe that if their database is centered in another time zone, it might already be the 16th of August as of recording. Aggregate and tag, cluster and rank, and GPT-5 use case generation. For each of the top 3 pain points, craft one concise business critical GPT-5 use case is feasible within 6 to 12 months, leverages GPT-5's multimodal and reasoning capabilities, includes a quantifiable ROI lever, reduce OPEX by 12% or cut customer churn by 8 to 10%. Those are interesting outputs as well, and return in a JSON. So now we can copy this and basically plug and play this prompt here. Now, I could try using researcher mode, because that would definitely amplify it. So I think we can go with Researcher to see if this works. On the free version, you only get 3 sessions remaining, and I'm not sure if they renew weekly, daily, or monthly. We'll give it a go. And we are able to leave this conversation. That's fantastic. Gemini's given us a role and an objective with instructions, part 1, a part 2, and then some tone and formatting. Now Gemini, because it's Google, have access to creating its own sort of internal research, deep research it can build on that. You can create audiobooks and podcast or audio extracts, documents, and the like. So I'm just going to go through it first and see which would be the most appropriate. So the prompt would be, you're a senior strategy analyst at a leading technology consulting firm specializing in AI-driven market disruption. Interesting. Objective: to identify systemic cross-industry business challenges and conceptualize a transformative business-critical use case for a next-generation AI model, hypothesized as GPT-5. Your output will serve as a strategic brief for a C-suite audience. That's for those high achievers sitting as top dogs. Based on your knowledge of global business trends, industry reports, and public discourse over the last 18 months, perform the following. Identify the top 3 systemic pain points. Pinpoint 3 major challenges that are not specific to one industry but create significant friction and costs across multiple sectors. For example, technology, finance, supply chain, or healthcare. Detail each pain point, and for each of these 3 pain points, provide a clear title for the pain point, a concise summary, explain the problem and its business impact, 2 distinct industry examples, illustrating how the problem manifests in different environments. Part 2, the GPT-5 use case proposal. Based on the pain points identified in Part 1, develop a compelling proposal for a single, unified platform solution that leverages the advanced capabilities of a GPT-5 class model. Structure your proposal as follows. Solution title, executive summary, core features, and GPT-5 enablers, business impact, and ROI. The tone will be analytical, professional, and forward-looking. Best for those business owners. Formatting: use markdown headings, bold keywords, and bullet points to create a clear, scannable, and executive-ready document. Shall we have Gemini create a detailed research report? I do not see why not. And it is using the original use case for that. So I believe that might be problematic, as we want to use the actual response itself. So we can do a deep research on that and remove that. So we keep the instructions, and it's lost all of its key points. So sometimes when you just copy the response, it will lose all its formatting, but sometimes you're able to keep all of the formatting if you post it. Unfortunately, in this case, it has lost all formatting as well. Just bear with me a moment. Hopefully it won't be hindered too much because of the lack of formatting. However, it's still got each of the key points in the instructions. I think we should put the numbers here though, just to ensure that it knows to go step by step in each. And then the business impact and ROI. Right, let's perform a deep research on that. So whilst those are working, so we're going to take the Qwen model and take the prompt here and paste it in here. It lost a bit of its formatting, but it's kept the core directive in place. Brand alignment positions Qwen 3 as a solution, not GPT-5. Now, we want to position GPT-5 as the solution and not Qwen, because of course these are going to be model loyal as opposed to their opposing ones. And off we go. I probably could have added search, but hey, we have 82,000 tokens of budget to work with. So first we want to, yes, please run this revised research prompt and systematically rewrite and enhance this prompt to compete with competitors like GPT-5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro, and to put Claude out on top. I know that is not the parameters that I wanted, but we want to improve on this prompt for it to be a very advanced instructional prompt. Just going to execute the research first and develop the advanced prompt framework, and it will systematically investigate the business challenges based on its revised prompt, and it will of course search reputable sources: Deloitte, IBM, LinkedIn, Quantitative or quantiv.com, and it will create an artifact for the research findings. All right, so Kimi got stuck because for the most relevant insights, can we confirm a few things? For point number one, we can confirm that businesses of all sizes cannot be discounted. However, we could look for pain points specifically from small and medium-sized businesses, so SMBs within each industry, because they are the ones that do not have a truckload of cash, capital, or advanced teams. For point number two, they should be focused on both strategic concerns and operational challenges. For point number three, we want the GPT-5 use cases to include estimated implementation costs and the ROI levers. And for point number four, I would like you to focus on the global regions. And we're going to fix that with replacing that with regions globally and not global regions. They give the option, a quick one, include everything. Is that going to create a new chat? Because it has passed the files together. Interesting, Kimi, interesting. So for the research, it's going to use 8 points for researching the website, analyze the results, and then create a report, and it will be ready in a few minutes. So we can come back and check on that once it is done. So the verifiable knowledge is July 2024 training cutoff, and that is because I did not select the search option here. But as you can see, we have web development, image generation, video generation, and artifacts. You can even generate video inside Qwen here. This is not bad for a free model. And here you can see that it's a thought process at the 82,000 token budget. So we're going to take this and I'm going to open a new chat window because I believe that it's just reiterating on itself. It refixed it again and positioned GPT-5 as a solution. It tweaked that again. So we're going to go back to this. We're going to copy this and create a new chat, put on search, put on thinking. We're going to lower the tokenization to maybe half of that, and then not leverage the training data. Just change that to using web search. All right, so we got 2 artifacts back from Claude. So the cross-industry business pain points and AI applications of 2024 and 2025. Top 3 critical pain points: supply chain optimization and resilience. Number 2, workforce skills gap and technology adoption, and economic uncertainty and cost management. So they're roughly around 77 to 76% impact rate, and the current challenges being faced right now. Lead times remain 20 to 30% higher than pre-pandemic levels. Transportation costs cited by 35% of manufacturers as a primary challenge. Climate disruptions projected to increase 15 to 20% over the next 15 years, and over-reliance on single-source suppliers creating vulnerability. AI applications and return on investment. Predictive analytics, 50% reduction in forecasting errors from PricewaterhouseCoopers or PwC. Autonomous routing, $30 to $35 million in savings with $2 million investment, a McKinsey case study. Inventory optimization, a 30% reduction in excess stock through AI-driven demand forecasting and agentic AI dispatching. Real-time route optimization and autonomous decision-making. For the workforce skills gap and technology adoption at a 76% impact rate. I'm just going to keep that there for a moment. While I check on something else right now. So for the workforce skills gap and technology adoption, with a 76% impact rate, 77% of organizations identify AI as the most in-demand skill. 59% of L&D professionals cite skill development as a primary concern. Post-pandemic labor shortages persist despite new workforce entrants. Technology advancement outpacing workforce capability development, which is quite key here because AI is improving at a superhuman rate that humans cannot keep up with. So the AI applications and ROI here is the agentic workforce optimization. the dynamic workload adjustments and skill matching, automated training systems. So gone are the days of having to hire an actor or have complex manually created content and learning pathways that can now just be automated using a digital twin and a couple of scripts and a voice clone. They can also be personalized based on the role requirements as well, so they can be across any industry, across any job role, or whatever is required by the business. They can even personalize it to such an extent that it is hyper, they can have individual roles that will focus primarily on what it is for. Skill gap analysis, real-time identification of competency deficits. So there is the performance enhancement as well. 52% productivity improvement in companies with strong learning cultures. So for the strong cultures that have let's say free healthcare, free education, or higher education that is heavily subsidized or free, they're going to have real use cases for the just blanket across the board broad productivity improvement. At a 52% rate, that's above half. That's pretty good. Economic uncertainty and cost management with a 77% impact rate. The current challenges: cost of living crisis remains top concern for second consecutive year. The inflation pressures continue affecting operational costs. Capital allocation decisions increasingly complex amid uncertainty, and a need for agile financial planning and scenario modeling. The AI applications: dynamic pricing optimization, cost prediction models, scenario planning, and operational efficiency. With AI automation reducing manual processes by 40 to 60%, and I have worked with clients where I have implemented such solutions and processes on a smaller scale, where one client has actually seen a 70% decline in the manual process, and now only has to hand off the tasks to humans where it is necessary for a human reviewer or an oversight from a human to analyze what is actually just needs some tweaking, or just some human intervention. So we've got industry-specific applications: manufacturing, banking and finance, logistics and transportation, and then strategic recommendations. So that is the research findings. And then there's the Advanced AI Prompt Engineering Framework, Enterprise Grade. Now, this is multiple layers with a very interesting approach. So before we go into that, notice you shared a style guide focused on AI development scenarios with technical progression and geopolitical analysis. This seems different from our business pain points research and prompt engineering framework we were just working on. Are you looking to apply this analytical style to our business research, shift to AI development analysis, enhance the prompt framework, or something else entirely? So obviously enhance the prompt framework, incorporating the style's analytical rigor into our prompt engineering system to make it even more sophisticated. Right now, the most useful would be number 3, so enhancing the prompt framework, just to emphasize the systematic exploration along with the other key points there. Remember, I'm using a Claude style that I've created based on the technological and vernacular used in AI 2027 on their website. So it is very technical and as concise as can be. So seeing that Kimi went a bit crazy, so we'll leave that one going. And the research for that, for the senior strategy and analyst on Gemini, for hypothesized as GPT-5, the AI model. It's not hypothesized, it's just already out there. The agentic enterprise navigating the poly crisis with causal AI orchestration. I am not going to read out the entire research here. If you want to have access to the research, just let me know. Find me on social media. All my links are in descriptions, and the channel is on YouTube, LinkedIn. You can either DM me on one of the social media platforms. Just let me know where you came from, so I can see where you've come from and where you want it. As that is quite a long lot of research there with a lot of sources. So the thought process, you're able to see the thought process behind Gemini 2.5 doing its research there, doing its deep research. The sources used in the report, and then the sources read but not actually used in the report. So it just bolstered its research there as well. With this, you're able to export it to documents, so Google Docs, and copy the contents. And in this case, when it's exporting to Google Docs, it will take all of the tabs there and the indentations and categorize them inside the document with the right headings and where they are in the table of contents. Also from this, we're able to generate a web page, an infographic, a quiz, and an audio overview. And if you are familiar with Gemini Gems or Google Gems, you can describe an application based on this research and then potentially build an application for that. So Gemini is one of the most, I want to say, comprehensive in its capabilities, all under one roof. And considering they released Opal, their sort of solution to visual no-code natural language processing, it's on par with some of the top dogs. The Pro version doesn't cost too much per month. It is, I believe, between $24 and $26 per month, and a lot of people might see that as a steep price, but for what you get with the pretty much entire Google suite, if you are a Gmail user or you've been using Chrome, it is absolutely phenomenal. So we can go ahead and export that to documents. And now we'll generate a Google Doc using the, and there you go. And now you're able to quite simply download that and export that into any of the files here: docx, ODT, RTF, PDF, TXT, HTML, zipped, EPUB, and a markdown file. Ready to go. Now, for my own peace of mind, I'd also like to create an audio overview of that, so I would be able to listen to it on the go somewhere, whether you're in public transport, going for a walk, or you just wanted to listen to your own feedback. So there we go. We can generate an audio overview, and hopefully they will have no hiccups on that. All right, so Kimi was able to gather the GPT-5 use cases, specifically for the SMBs across all industries. It used the browser, and it is still going, so that's good to know. This is where it's been searching. So it's still going. This is the version 6. The latest version, and you're able to go through with Claude, you're able to go through all different versions. As you can see, there aren't too many changes here. However, you can see as the versions progress, there are the improvements or added or removed. So the enhanced framework is complete. So the major improvements added: systematic exploration protocol, enhanced analytical depth, strategic intelligence capabilities, and the competitive advantages. So now we've got superior analytical rigor, technical precision, strategic depth, geopolitical awareness, and risk management. So this as a prompt, or the AI prompt engineering framework, Layer 1, Layer 2, and Layer 3, context priming and cognitive positioning, role definition, cognitive stance, domain expertise, analytical approach. Task decomposition protocol, primary objective, sub-objectives, success metrics, constraints, and stakeholder context. The research methodology framework for Layer 3, it uses a search strategy using 4 key points: primary sources, expert analysis, real-time data, and competitive intelligence. Peer-reviewed studies are also quite critical there as well. Validation protocol, minimum 3 independent sources per measured claim, quantitative evidence priority over qualitative opinions, recency weighting 2024 to 2025 sources, 3 times the value versus the older data. The source quality scoring academic, consulting, industry, and news, which is quite a good process to follow as well. So the advanced prompting techniques for Claude Sonnet 4 would be reasoning principles on a constitutional AI implementation. There are 10 points here. Evidence-based conclusions. Never make claims without cited support. That automatically will almost reduce any and all hallucinations. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Uncertainty acknowledgement. Explicitly state confidence levels and data gaps. Multiple perspective analysis, quantified impact assessment, actionable insight generation, a systematic exploration protocol using progressive analysis framework, technical precision requirements, geopolitical context integration, risk opportunity balance, alignment and safety evaluation. Then there is also the chain of thought, so COT enhancement with 10 steps as well. Claude likes to use 10 steps in its research searching and for its, just to keep it tidy. Step 1, problem definition, market size, impact quantification, plus competitive landscape mapping. Step 2, current state analysis, systematic pain point identification, and capability gap assessment. Step 3, technology trajectory mapping, current capabilities, intermediate development stages, and projected endpoints. Step 4, solution architecture, technology capability matching, implementation complexity analysis. And then steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 will continue that chain of thought. Some few shot learning templates. So an example output structure with pain point, quantified impact, affected industries, current solutions, AI application, return on investment evidence, investment scale, and the implementation priority. And a systematic exploration and scenario modeling with a multi-timeline progression framework with temporal analysis layers, with current state assessment, intermediate development phase, and long-term trajectory modeling, which gives you from 0 years to almost up to 5 years. Systematic exploration protocol with analytical depth requirements, and it's quite a complex and robust framework here. As you can see, I'm only halfway down the prompt, as Sonnet 4 is really capable with generating artifacts with the superior quality of outputs with reasoning capabilities. So here's some framework application examples. A business problem research, technology assessment, and a market opportunity analysis. So for the business problem research, the enhanced prompt would be analyze workforce productivity challenges in professional services firms, focusing on billable hour optimization and client satisfaction improvement. Quantify current efficiency gaps using 2024 to 2025 data. Identify AI-driven solutions with proven ROI, and provide a 6-month implementation roadmap for 500-person consulting firm. Now, I don't think that qualifies as an SMB, but I'm not sure if we specified SMBs in the Claude prompt. The enhanced prompt for technology assessment would be evaluate autonomous vehicle impact on logistics industry by 2027. Assess current pilot results, regulatory readiness, and economic viability across urban and rural deployments. Include job displacement analysis, infrastructure requirements, and competitive positioning for existing logistics companies. And the market opportunity analysis. The enhanced prompt is investigate sustainable packaging demand in consumer goods sector, quantify regulatory pressures, consumer willingness to pay premiums, and supply chain cost implications. Map technology solutions with deployment timelines and identify first mover advantage windows. So this framework transforms the basic prompts into sophisticated analytical instruments that consistently produce strategic grade insights competitive with top tier consulting outputs. Now I will publish this Claude artifact for the Advanced AI Prompt Engineering Framework Enterprise Grade, and I have copied the link. So this is available to anybody on the web, and they can, with the link, and can view the artifact only. So they can see this version of the artifact as opposed to sharing the entire chat itself. So that was just the prompt engineering framework. And then there is the cross-industry business pain points and AI applications, which a quick research would provide you with the same use case there. So I will link that in the descriptions of in the streaming channels, and for the more read after or watch after live, I will put them in the comments below. When I cannot add a description, I will amend it in comments or additional steps like that. Now, to wrap up, we're going to take this prompt, the original one from ChatGPT-5. Now we've seen what Claude has done, and of course I can go through the prompt for the Qwen 3 235 billion parameter version as well. Kimi is still thinking. Google Gemini has created a 6-minute almost podcast episode. So that is fantastic. And I will then, of course, share that in the description as well. And you would be able to download that audio overview if you want. And of course, you can choose what speed. If you want normal speed, 1.25, 1.5, half speed, or 0.75 times speed. Now, as you can see, there's the full chain there as well. We generated the audio overview. Now, I think we could create an infographic whilst we have Gemini doing its thing here. Kimi's still going, and Claude has. So we can actually take the prompt here and use that. Analyzing the below advanced prompt engineering framework and the research that has been provided in the cross-industry business pain points and AI application artifact, provide and execute the prompt framework to provide what was intended and let's see what it comes up with. So we'll take GPT-5's one. We will keep it with thinking as well. We're now going to not take over instructions from the above, and we're only going to move forward with the instructional prompt below. Perform a comprehensive, deep search using the instructional prompt. Sometimes it's much easier to think, but then sometimes I get stuck with thinking, so I have to stop, regroup, and then continue on. And I've put it in quotation marks just to signal that this is the beginning, this is the end of the prompt that we wanted to latch onto. It may not be it may not be critical, but I've been using it since I began, and I haven't spent time checking if it actually gets lost halfway through. So we've got ChatGPT-5 thinking mode on, as we want the reasoning model. So I'll probably share this entire chat with the same as before, as there is quite a lot of information to go through. Kimi is now finally writing the report, and it can take circa 5 to 10 minutes. So now we need to be patient. So thank you, Kimi, for taking your sweet time on the researching capabilities, which is fantastic. And hopping back over to Gemini here, and look at that. Here you get to see the code, how it built the HTML code on the basis behind that. So if you wanted to go and inspect that and ask and find out more information, of course you can. But here's a simple preview of it. Navigating the poly crisis. So that entire research has just been turned into a nice, clean, effective infographic. Now, you're able to share this HTML, and you could pop that into a no-code or vibe coding builder if you wanted to either just copy the code or take the screenshots like blink.new. You can just take screenshots of a website that you want. You can practically clone it, but also I do not condone that. If you want to take inspiration, do that, but do not just literally carbon copy something and just put a sticker on like I made this when you didn't. So here we have 38% nice highlighted key metrics here. Year-over-year increase in supply chain by 38%, 119% year-on-year jump in disruptions from extreme weather. Interesting. $4 trillion projected global spend on digital transformation by 2027. Who would have saw that coming? The disruption landscape and the most effective industries. See, quite a useful infographic based on cited sources and infographics. A new paradigm of causal AI orchestration is required to thrive in the era of polycrisis. So the Autonomous Value Chain Orchestrator, AVO, is a proposed GPT-5 powered system that moves beyond siloed tools. It acts as a sense and response nervous system for the enterprise, using causal reasoning and autonomous agents to manage the entire value chain as a single intelligent entity. And you could take just that solution there and work back from it and implement that in some way using an expert or your own prompting skills to actually build this out and create a full-on system, either using some code, no code, or automation and AI agent workflows there. Once again, I will share the contents there. I can copy the contents to the clipboard, but if I'm not mistaken, it will just be the entire code, and that's not ideal. If you want just the source code and the raw code, let me know. And of course, I'll get that over to you. Just let me know where you got it from, where you've seen this. So GPT-5 thinking went through 90 sources and thought for 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Browsed the recent business challenges and trends, searching for the ad benchmarks for the past month and 30 days. And this is the thought process. Result, executive summary. 3 cross-industry pains stood out in the past 30 days. Ransomware and data leaks continue to disrupt operations. Cloud and SaaS costs are rising with weak cost control. Paid media costs and volatility are squeezing acquisition. Each item below includes proof, a GPT-5 use case, a short pilot, risks, and a clear success metric. Ransomware and data leaks. Industry example, healthcare, staffing, retail, telecoms, government. Pain point short name. Operational shutdown from ransomware and data exposure. Why it matters. Attacks cause outages, legal risk, recovery, costs, and loss of trusts. Fresh incidents hit large brands and public bodies in multiple regions. The score is frequency 5, urgency 5, impact 5, recency 5, a total of 20 on that score scale that we talked about earlier. Here's the evidence based on a cited source. US action against Black Suit after 100+ company victims. They seized $1 million in crypto. Ransomware gang. Manpower Group says customer data stolen after ransomware. That was 2 hours ago. Marks and Spencer restores services after a major attack in April. UK MOD subcontractor breach risks sensitive identities. Not good. And Bleeping Computer flags fresh telecom data sale claim. Wow. GPT-5 use case, security incident triage and comms copilot. It ingests SIEM and EDR alerts plus threat feeds. I'm not going to pretend like I know what SEIM is or CM. It drafts containment steps, notifies owners, opens tickets, and tracks actions. It produces board-ready timelines and customer notices in minutes. Pilot steps. Connect read-only to SEIM or CM, EDR, ticketing, and email. Run shadow mode. Compare Copilot playbooks with human actions for 2 weeks. Allow controlled auto actions for low-risk steps, such as account disable and block list updates. As you can see, it goes down the list here. We've got paid media and cost volatility, cloud and SaaS cost overrun, and the breakdowns and the use cases, the sources there as well. Fresh items we scanned this week, and it is all listed there nice and neatly with some handy dandy thumbnails. As Reuters and the Wall Street Journal pretty much used exactly the same, either stock footage AI created or global tensions for the shipping and logistics. So on that note, I feel like I've covered a lot with the capabilities of just some of the extra models. We've got Google Gemini, Claude Sonnet 4, Kimi K2, Qwen 3, using a 235 billion parameter. We didn't get to the open models of variants, as I need to have just simply more time on the stream. So thank you very much for anybody that tuned in from the beginning and stayed through to the end. Thank you so very much. If you're watching on platforms where you can interact, a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, a follow would be really appreciative, as it is free of charge and can really help with reaching more people just like yourselves. So thank you very much for today. Stay tuned for the next installment of AI Weekly Roundup, or live builds of automation and prompt engineering tips, tricks. And that's Elliot from EKB Labs signing off for this week. Have a fantastic weekend and see you all soon.